Hey everyone, Sarah Picaro. This is the second take of the first video. I know that the speaker for the first one wasn't working very well. So hopefully I've got that fixed, and just wanted to share a video about a client that I had in our recent experience through our session, through the work that we did together, the transformation, the breakthrough, the incredibly profound transformation and breakthrough that she had in our session. So this video is going to be about that, and about how when we're healing, when we connect with the parts of us that are in pain, and we can speak to them in a different way than we have been speaking to them and about them, how we can expedite the healing process and get those breakthroughs or those transformations that we all long for, especially when we're coming from a place of pain and we're stuck and we're frustrated and things don't make sense because perhaps you have done a ton of healing work already. Perhaps you've done the journaling, the therapy, the affirmations, the mantras, and you've come a really long way, but there's still parts of you that just don't get why you're still in so much pain and why you have the problems that you have today. And the area that we worked on with her specifically were the parts of her that felt anger, that felt tension, that felt that when she spoke, she wasn't listened to, she wasn't heard. And it was significantly and dramatically impacting her closest relationships. This is a woman who's in her 50s. She's got an incredible husband. She's got a business that she built from the ground up that's thriving. It's doing really well. She's got a daughter who's in her 20s, an adult daughter. And was feeling so disconnected from the people that she loved the most. She was feeling disconnected from her incredible husband, was feeling disconnected from her only daughter, from her single daughter. And she said, Sarah, she's just all I've got. I don't have, several children. So our relationship is so important to me. The relationship that I have with my business that I grew from the ground up. I can step into the office now, and it's like people in the office don't want me there. And when I try and step in to help out and, kind of alleviate some of the things that they're having to do in the business, it's like they don't want me there. And I just don't get it. And I feel like when I speak up, I'm not heard, I'm not listened to, and it hurts and it makes me angry. And when I get angry, I just get paralyzed. I can't speak. I just want to leave. I want to get out of there. I feel this tension in my body. So today I'm going to talk you through our session that we had, bullet point outline, and share with you how she was able to have a profound breakthrough in our session by connecting with those parts of her that felt that. So again, this is not gender specific, but this particular situation that I'm going to describe was a woman. She's in her 50s, and like I said, has amazing things happening for her in her life, but was still feeling most significantly that when I speak, I'm not listened to, I'm not heard, what I say doesn't matter, and then feeling anger, feeling tension, and feeling paralyzed by that, because of that. So um like I said before, she was trying to connect with people. She's like, I've been trying to do the work, I've been journaling, I've done forgiveness work. I know where some of this comes from is from the past. I was molested as a child. I know some of it has to do with that, but I've done like a decade of like forgiveness work. I have forgiven the perpetrator and the person in my past who molested me, and I just don't understand why I still get so angry and why I still feel like I'm trying so hard to listen to the people that I love, to listen to the people I work with, my husband, my daughter, and be calm. But I always end up feeling so angry, so enraged, and that what I have to say doesn't matter, and feel so upset because I'm trying to give love and I'm trying to be there and I'm trying to show compassion and concern and trying to help out and trying to listen. And it just, I don't know what's going on, Sarah. That's what she said to me. So in our session, we were able to go back to core times in her past when those feelings of anger, feelings of tension, feelings of paralyzation, feelings of not being listened to, or not feeling that what she said made a difference. When those most connected and most resonated for her, and the parts of her that felt the anger, that felt the tension, that became paralyzed and felt that when she spoke, it didn't matter. I mean, those things would significantly impact anyone. We're humans. We're wired for connection, and she had a desire for connection and was like getting blocked every time she attempted to connect with the people that she loved the most. And just imagine for a moment how that would show up and impact your life. If you constantly felt blocked, if you were trying to show up for yourself, connect with others, and you felt like you were getting nowhere. It feels like you're on a hamster wheel and you're just going around and around. And we've all got different parts of us. We have parts of us physically, we have different parts of us emotionally, we have different parts of us as well. And in this, we were able to connect with the right part of her to provide a breakthrough and a transformation. So I'm excited to share with you more about our session and how it unfolded and how you can do just that as well in any area of your life that you are stuck. So we're going to talk about how she spoke to those parts and how in connecting with those parts and speaking to those parts in the right way aided her breakthrough and transformation. And again, I am sharing this just informationally. Maybe it's something that you connect with and resonate with or are looking for in your own life yourself, because maybe you're like her and you've done a lot of the journaling, affirmations, forgiveness work. You had events in your past that were very traumatic and you have significantly worked through them, but there's still the impact of those things, like the residual, the anger, the tension, the feeling disconnected, even though you have forgiven, someone or moved past a particular event. But you notice the quality of life that you have is not what you desire, and quite honestly, not what you deserve. So first, I'm going to share the experiences that came up for her in our session and then the impact that they had on her. So like I said before, female client in her 50s has done a lot of healing work around the anger, has done a lot of forgiveness work around the people, the perpetrators that hurt her emotionally, physically in the past. Caveat here, one of the most difficult things for a child to wrap their mind around is when a perpetrator is a parent, when you experience molestation within the family, because generally this is a person who has protected you, who has been put in a position to keep you safe, to love you, to provide for you, to care for you. And when that person abuses you or molests you, the the programming of the mind, the beliefs that that child begins to develop about themselves completely shift and change the trajectory of your life. And that's really what this transformational work is about, is what I love helping guide people to, are those breakthroughs and breaking away from those beliefs that you developed about yourself because of a particular incident or experience, or a multitude of them. Statistically, 1 out of 4 women are abused, 1 out of 6 men are abused. I wish it was more like 1 in a million. Unfortunately, it's not. And so sadly, the types of things that we're about to go over today, like this client experience, happen far too often. So, and these things show up in life as what I call big T traumas, which are big significant events like molestation or, types of abuse. And then little T traumas, which are the seemingly insignificant things, the things that your mind would go, what, that didn't matter. I mean, I got over that, right? That's, everyone goes through that. So today you're going to see a combination and a mixture of what arose, what came up for this client and how it impacted her, how we were able to connect with those parts of her that were most significantly impacted and were still present in her life today before the session. So the first unconscious connection that she made to the overwhelmingly paralyzing anger and tension that she felt daily when communicating with her loved ones was a connection to when she was a younger girl. Uh, she was frequently spanked by her father, like many of us were. I remember being spanked by my parents, and back in the day, like, it was very, very common. It was the way that people were punished. We were spanked with hands. We were spanked with wooden spoons, paddles, belts. I mean, you name it. Like, people got spanked by it back in the day. And she was getting spanked by her father frequently enough that she, at school one day, went to the nurse's office and told the nurse what was happening and how she was getting spanked. And the nurse called home, speak to the parents and let them know what their child had just come into the nurse's office and said. Not the parent who was spanking her, the other parent showed up, sat in the nurse's office, listened to what the nurse said, and said, "No, nurse, that doesn't happen." And in that moment, when she heard that parent and saw that parent in the nurse's office and heard her saying, "No, that doesn't happen," when she was speaking her truth and it was happening, she felt so afraid and scared because she was now being perceived as a liar and made to believe that what she was saying wasn't the truth, because the other parent was sitting there lying to the nurse, saying, "No, that doesn't happen." And my client, not a child anymore, so was like, "No, that does happen. That's why I told the nurse," and was made to feel like, okay, here I am doing the right thing, doing what I'm told to do. You're taught to tell a teacher, tell an authority figure, tell a trusted adult when something wrong or bad happens. And that's what she was doing. She was doing what she was taught to do and was made to be put out as this liar. And she's thinking to herself, why would I lie about that? What benefit would that have to me to lie about that? So she was left feeling unimportant because the nurse was like, okay, well, that's what she said. And like, I don't know, you guys figure this out. When the parent showed up and said, no, that doesn't happen, she was feeling scared, feeling angry, feeling like no one was supporting her. The nurse wasn't able to support her. The other parent wasn't supporting her, basically calling her a liar. She felt insignificant. She felt intensely angry because she was telling the truth and was made to believe that she was making this stuff up. And this was all when she was just a little girl in grade school. And so that was the first connection. Another connection she made, usually we'll kind of make 3 or 4 connections to kind of see the patterns that they all have. Another connection she made was when she was younger and being compared to her older sibling. So both her and her older sibling, they played musical instruments. Her father really liked it. He enjoyed listening to them play and harmonize together and hearing the melodies, and he really enjoyed their duets. And she did not play her musical instrument as loud as her sister. Her sister was better. Her words, her sister was better at the instrument that she played, was more in tune with the melody, the harmony. It was all better. And her father said, yours is drowned out. You're not as loud as your sister. You're not playing as well as your sister. So let me get you a different instrument so that you can, be up here and playing where your sister plays. And she was made to feel when that occurred that she just didn't quite compare to her sister. Her sister was better than her. She could play more in tune, play with a better harmony. And she was like, which wasn't bad, but she wasn't as good as her sister. And when being compared to her sister and the tone and the pitch which she played her instrument, she had to change her instrument because dad said, well, you're kind of soft and quiet, it's kind of drowned out. And I want to hear both of you play. It's just so beautiful. Well, her childlike mind, when that occurred, developed this belief that she's not good enough. She didn't compare to her sibling. And that in order to be good enough and to be at the same level, she needed to change something about herself and do something different so that someone else could take pleasure from it and receive pleasure from it. Well, the other sibling didn't need to change anything about how she did things or the way she did things, but my client had to change everything, had to change the instrument, had to change the way that she played it. And she developed this belief, something's wrong with me. And I didn't want to change the instrument. I liked the one that I played, but I was made to. So there must have been something wrong with me. And that's the belief that her mind developed, that she was not good enough and she had to change something about her because she couldn't measure up or compare to this other person. So that was the second connection that she made. And because of that, felt like I'm just not heard when I speak up. And I felt angry. I felt tension. I felt paralyzed because I didn't want to change, but I had to because the way that I was didn't quite measure up. It wasn't good enough. So we went to another connection in the past, and this one was definitely more of a traumatic event, more of an abusive event in her past, something that she'd already done a lot of healing work around already, or so she thought, is what she said after. She said, Sarah, wow, I really truly thought I had worked through that because I've spent almost a decade working through it with various counselors, therapists, journals, affirmations, mantras. I had forgiven that person. That person is no longer alive. That person that did that to me is past, is deceased, and I truly have forgiven that person. So the third connection she made was when the molestation was happening and occurring. So what I call a big T trauma. And she was told that it happened to her because of the way she dressed, because of the way she was, and really truly believe that. And when that occurs, when you're a child and you have an experience that is that traumatic and that significant, you truly do believe the lies that are told to you. She believed it was her fault. She believed that it was because of the way she dressed, because of the way that she was. And it was happening from someone who she looked up to, someone she loved, someone she counted on to keep her safe and protect her. And when that happens, like I said, everything changes. Your mind gets so confused between what's real, what's not. And in that, she was able to connect with the reasoning why her her body and her mind developed the paralyzation, the anger, the tension, and the belief that what she say doesn't matter, and that she has to be different and change something about herself to stop something from happening, because the way she was at that time as a child was the reason for that happening, which is absolutely not the truth, but it was for her then. So she began to feel powerless, hopeless. She couldn't stop that from happening. She couldn't change anything, right? Especially once you move past the event, you look back on it and you wish you could have stopped it or changed it or done something different so that it didn't happen, because now you're left with all the pain from that, the confusion from that. Why did that happen to me? And now she believed, well, it happened to me because I was molested because of the way I dressed, because I asked for it, because of the way that I was. And of course, if that's true, you don't want it to be. So you want to change and fix yourself so that that doesn't happen again or repeatedly. And she felt a tremendous amount of anger, loneliness, an inability to stop that, to stop the thoughts about herself, to stop the feelings she was having, felt completely defeated, powerless, felt that she deserved that, felt that being molested was her fault. And obviously the client's not a child anymore, but the anger and the tension that was in her body was still paralyzing her in different ways decades later. It was paralyzing her ability to have her really connect with people that she loved the most. Um, Through the course of our session, it was incredibly profound to witness her completely shed and release what I'll describe later that came up for her by connecting with and speaking to the parts of her that created the tension, that created the anger, and in that untwist, unlock, unknot, unbind from all of this, and realize that actually the anger and the tension was helping her, was protecting her, was keeping her safe, and was helping her grow and realize just how special she is. That may sound weird right now, I know, because she knew on a logical level she was not those things that happened to her, and she knew that those words, you deserve this, has happened to you because of the way you dress, because of the way you act, that those were lies. They were not the truth. But it was like her mind was thinking, I don't get it. I've forgiven the perpetrator. I've moved on. It's been years. And the person, like I said, who molested her, it isn't even alive anymore, and was still feeling so disconnected and so out of sorts and out of place in other parts of her life, still feeling like a 50 something year old adult, that what she has to say doesn't matter. And that's not a 50-year-old adult's belief. That's the child's belief, the inner child, your inner child. That's not yours, but hers. Your own inner child's belief. It's not yours today. So connecting with the part of her that created the anger and the tension allowed her to see the truth, speak the truth, feel the truth, and break free from all of that stuff. Though from those negative thoughts that she had about herself, of, from the anger, from not being able to get through and connect with people in a kind, loving way, and realize that the anger and the tension from those events were there to try and protect her. Because if she didn't have anger or tension, those things could still continue to occur. So the anger and the tension actually became fuel to motivate her to do something different, to become stronger, to become more powerful when she felt powerless and weak. So in our session, we were able to deeply and unconsciously connect to the part of her and begin speaking to the part of her, the anger, the tension, the feeling that what she had to say doesn't matter, in a different way. In a different way than she had been connecting and speaking to it, in a more profound and powerful way, and she was able to a connect with it, b speak to it, and thank it. Thank the anger, thank the tension, thank the paralyzation, thank the feeling and the belief what I say doesn't matter, for keeping her safe for all those decades, for all those years. Thank it for protecting her and keeping her safe. And this is extremely profoundly life changing. This is where the breakthroughs and the transformations happen. And this is almost impossible to do just on a conscious level, and almost impossible to do on your own, because obviously if you could, you would. Who doesn't want to be free from their pain? But these parts of you and these parts of her were so deeply embedded in her unconscious mind that it was showing up in every area of her life. Um, it shows up as a connection to those things that you think are seemingly insignificant, like being made to play a different instrument, or be like telling a nurse that you're getting spanked at school. Uh, Through our session, she was able to completely transform. I wish we would have recorded it. It was incredible. She was able to identify that she had this protective, the way that she described this, I have this protective shield and armor around me from the anger and from the tension and from the belief that what I say doesn't matter, because it didn't matter in the nurse's office. It didn't matter when I didn't want to play that instrument. It didn't matter when I was being molested. What I said then didn't matter. And it made me angry, and it made me just enraged, tense. It made me just want to leave. Like if I can't do anything, I just want to leave. And there must be something wrong with me. So she was able to connect with this part of her that created this, the way she described it, a shield and armor around her. And now, with that shield and armor there, she was not able to penetrate through it and break through it to connect with those that she loved, her husband, her daughter, her colleagues, and the people in the business that she had created. And that anger from all those things from the past were getting projected onto the people that she loved the most, so much so that they were getting angry with her. And so she was projecting the anger, they were projecting their anger, and it's just this constant battle. And she said, Sarah, when she first came to me, I'm a kind person, I'm a loving person, I'm a caring person. I don't know why, when I'm trying to like do things to show that I love you and I care for you, uh, and I'm really trying to listen. Like, I'm trying to keep my mouth quiet and hear what people are saying when they're speaking and be there for them. But it's like, okay, I hear you, I'm listening. Yeah, but it needs to be done this way. And then boom, like it's just like a 3, 2, 1. Like I'm out of here then. I'm just gonna go. If you're not even gonna listen to what I say, I'm gonna go. And she said, I just don't get this, because I truly am a loving, kind, caring person. So through our session today, she was able to break through that, able to break through the armor that she had created around herself to protect herself from those things that happened to her in the past, and that she didn't even realize she had still been carrying. And like I said before, she'd done a lot of forgiveness work in the past with the perpetrator specifically, and was able to connect with the part of her that developed the belief that what she said didn't matter, and speak to it. Tell it what it needed to hear. You do matter. I hear you. I believe you. There's nothing you need to change about yourself to be heard, and able to connect with the anger and see, I anger, I've been trying to protect you. I've been trying to keep you safe, because your parents didn't protect you and keep you safe the way that you wish they would have, or the way that you needed them to when you were just a little girl. I was here to connect with you. I believed what you said when they didn't. And I know this may sound crazy and weird, but she was able to connect with the part of her that created the anger to believe her and to listen to her when no one else was believing her and listening to her when she was a little girl. And like I said, it's very difficult to do this kind of work on your own. It's difficult to connect to those parts internally and unconsciously because they're so deeply ingrained and embedded in your unconscious mind. And when you connect with them through hypnosis, through RTT or rapid transformational therapy, you, like she did, can experience profound shifts, immense internal transformation, and truly find forgiveness for those parts that you've been making wrong. She was able to say, thank you. Thank you for protecting me the way that you did, to the anger, to the hurt, to the pain, to the shield. Thank you for keeping me safe when my parents didn't, when the nurse didn't, when my sibling didn't, when no one else helped me. You came into my life to help me, to protect me. When I felt powerless, you came into my life to give me power, to motivate me, to have me know I am special. So it was incredibly profound when she was able to thank the parts, tell them what they did for her to keep her safe for all these years, and see the way that when she felt abandoned, these parts never abandoned her. And that was part of the profound transformation. The anger, the tension, the paralyzation, the belief that what she has to say doesn't matter, never abandoned her. And that was like the click. Oh my gosh. Wow. This has been helping me. When everyone and everything else abandoned me, these parts came into my life and they have never abandoned me. Now that's part of the problem. She needed to let go of those so she could truly connect. But why would you let go of something that has been protecting you and keeping you safe, even if you don't want it, when it's the only thing in your life that has never abandoned you? So that's what she was able to connect with, those parts of her. And when that occurred, it was like I was looking at a different person. When we first started, her session was this, her tone was different, shoulders kind of slumped in, frustrated, angry, all those feelings. And afterwards, once that connection awareness was made and she was able to speak to those parts, realize how they were helping her, protecting her, and they haven't abandoned her, to say, I no longer need you. You may go. Wow. That that was the end of our session. Wow, Sarah, wow. Oh my gosh. I never realized this. I am so grateful for those parts. Because of those parts, I was able to survive and make it through things that I don't think I could have otherwise made it through. And that was the very thing that I needed then to survive. I don't need that anymore. In fact, having it still is the thing that's preventing me from being able to connect with the people that I love the most. And she was able, for the first time ever in her life, to find true forgiveness, not just for the perpetrator and what he did to her, not for the other people who were making her wrong or not believing her, realizing that that anger and all that stuff came into her life to help her, to support her, not to hurt her. But today, because it was still in her life, was hurting her, and was able to be completely free, to let it go. It was just incredibly profound transformation, like right before my eyes. And she was able to use language when speaking to those parts, connecting with them, compassion, giving them forgiveness, love, gratitude, and thank them for her, like in a way that she'd never experienced before. It just, like I said, I wish I could have recorded it and shared it on here. And now she said, Sarah, this is crazy. I know now that everything I say does matter. Everything everyone says does matter. And it always has. I know it always has. And I feel that and I know that now. And like I said, getting to that place unconsciously in your mind and your experiences from the past completely transform. They change everything. So after a session, like I said, it was like I was staring at a different person. And she said to me, wow, I had no idea. I And I asked her, well, where's the protection? Where's the shield? Where's the barrier now? And she said, it's it's gone. It's gone. I just feel free. And I smiled, huge loving smile on my face. And I said, what would someone who's who's free like to do now? And she sat in that moment for a while, and it was the most beautiful thing to experience, to witness. And after she sat in that place for a while, she said, I want to share this now, like the real me. Go be with the people that I love and not be angry towards them and not project anything because there's nothing to project on them because it's gone. I just wow. Wow. And now without this anger, without this barrier, without this protection, I will be able to really truly listen to them and not just say that I'm listening to them, like really listen. And she said, Sarah, I had been trying so hard to see what it was that I was doing, why I felt this way. And now it's gone. Wow. And like I said, I have experienced this myself in my life in many ways through hypnosis, through rapid transformational therapy. And it's absolutely what I love doing, guiding the people that I work with to that place so you can break through and transform your life in the way that works for you. Everyone's journey and experience is unique to them because not a single one of us has the same upbringing. So if this is what you're looking forward to, these same profound shifts and changes in your life, and you're ready for this, you're ready for that breakthrough, you're ready to make those connections, and please schedule a time for us to connect, see if we are a good fit to work together. And there's more information in the description below this video to do just that. Thank you for allowing me to share this client experience with you. And like I said, when you're ready for your transformation, make sure you schedule a time. Until then, send those parts of you that are hurting compassion, love, and forgiveness, but there's nothing like connecting with them at the unconscious level. So take care, everyone.